Hello everyone, welcome to another channel, another video on my channel. Sorry, my name is Marshall3498. On today's motovlog, what I'd like to talk about is motorcycle specific as usual. And that topic is one that I can relate to the topic. And that topic is, don't always believe what you see on the specs of stuff. Motorcycles, you know, there's a lot of guys out there who I think don't necessarily know exactly what they want, and so they look at the specs, the suspension travel, the weight, the horsepower, the rake and trail, the suspension travel, the ground clearance, specs about the motor. And I'm here to tell you, I own two motorcycles on totally inch of that quote-unquote spec sheet. And the bike that I'm currently riding is a 2022 KLR 650, the adventure model. And this bike, you know, if you look at the specs, the only really good spec, if I'm being honest about this bike, is the price. You know, depending on your taxes and dealer prep and stuff, the bike by itself that I'm riding is about $7,500, give or take, depending on what what they're selling for before taxes, dealer prep, freight, blah blah blah. So all that may vary, but the bike by itself, $7,400, $7,500, $7,300, somewhere in there by itself. So that, you know, that's a reasonable, you know, lower end of the budget as far as the new motorcycle sales go. Yes, you do have some stuff like a Grom and stuff like that is lower, but most of your, you know, 400cc bikes and up start at, you know, $5,000 and keep rising. So that's what I'm comparing it to. So, you know, this bike, it only makes 42 horsepower. It makes like right at 40 foot-pounds of torque. It weighs 400, depending on what spec sheet you look at, but this bike that I'm riding, the Traveler, not the Adventure, weighs about 470. So power weight ratio doesn't sound good. It's only a 5-speed, and you know, everything is on the KLR, the new gen, the 3rd gen that I own, everything is just like a C. It's not great at anything, but not terrible at anything either. So, you know, I've now put 850 miles on this bike. I bought it brand new. I'm the only one that's ever ridden it. And there are some quirks that I don't like about it, but for the most part, the bike does really good. The number one thing I will say about this bike, because of the 5-speed and the gearing, is the only big negative that I have about it. And it's not a huge negative, but it's not a deal breaker. It's just kind of, you have to accept that about the motorcycle is, at least for me, the roads I ride, you know, I typically don't like riding the interstate unless I have to. If I need to take the interstate somewhere several hundred miles or even more than 30 minutes or so, I'll take my 2016 Yamaha FJR 1300. That's a fantastic bike. It'll do 100 miles an hour plus on the interstates and be very comfortable doing it. Not that you should go 100, but I'm just telling you it's not highway limited on power at all. Because that bike, my FJR, makes 135 horsepower and 108 foot-pounds, and only weighs, it's a little heavy, but it's not like Goldwing heavy. It weighs 645 pounds, so it has a good power to weight ratio, unlike this bike. And the main thing out of this motovlog that I'm trying to get the point across is, you know, don't believe all the specs you see on a piece of paper or online in front of your computer screen or tablet, whatever you're looking upon. I'm saying go out, do a demo day. If some dealers might let you ride whatever brand of bike you're looking at, maybe get on Twisted Road or that other Rider Share, I think is the other app, and ride somebody's bike. There are lots of fairly new bikes, 5 years old and 5 years old and newer than that I've seen, and that's just on my little area that I live in. You know, I think that's a better way if you can find that specific bike that you're looking to purchase than a demo ride. Demo ride, you'll get a good idea of what the bike's like, but I feel like if you was to rent that bike for at least a day, put a couple hundred miles on it, you'd have a better understanding on what that motorcycle does. Now, the biggest thing I want to get a point across in today's motovlog is you have to be honest yourself what you want the bike to be good at and what it doesn't have to be as good at. And that's the biggest thing on the specs that kind of matters. That'll give you a good indication. But till you ride the bike, you don't know. The specs may be awesome, and then you may ride the bike and hate it. I've ridden a couple of bikes on some Yamaha demo days that I was like, well, that bike's gonna be awesome. And I rode it, I was like, this bike sucks. Not that the bike is really sucked, but the bike isn't what that I wanted out of a bike. You know, there's lots of different riding styles, lots of different, you know, riding statures, size, weights, heights, reach of the bars, how, if you've got any joint pain, knee pain, all that stuff matters. Because everybody's different, and that's why they make so many great type of bikes. But like I said, be honest with yourself what you're looking at the bike to do for you, and then go from there. If you want a bike to crush hundreds of miles on, I'll be perfectly honest with you. If you're looking for an adventure bike to do lots of highway miles and be good on road, you know, good happy medium, I will tell you this: do not buy a single cylinder motorcycle, period. Yes, you could gear this bike up and make it better. You know, it speeds above 65, but I love riding the back road, so it doesn't really bother me that much. And like I said, I have another bike that's super highway capable if I want to take a long trip somewhere. So there's that. So that would matter too if you were looking for a second bike. So the first bike wasn't the greatest at some things, and you could live with it. The other bike you had being better at things that the second bike isn't as good at, then that would be happy middle ground. But if you're looking for one bike, do it all, I'll tell you right now, buy a twin adventure bike at least. Of course, there are one bike that I'm aware of, or at least one brand I should say, that are a 3-cylinder bike, and that is the Triumph Tiger. Whether you get the 900, the newest one in rendition of the Tiger, or if you get the 1200, both are 3-cylinders. The 1200 is shaft drive, the 900 is still chain drive. But you know, do I regret buying this KLR 650? Absolutely not. It'll get me it started in my venture world of bikes where I want to be, get used to riding off-road. That, you know, kind of 400 plus 50-pound plus bike, close to 500 pounds, and it, you know, it's a good motorcycle. I don't regret buying it at all. So on that, guys, if you have any comments, questions, things you want to talk about, down below, leave them in the comment section. If you've not already done so, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next motovlog. See ya.